The phoenix is a rare bird, extinct to most people's way of thinking, but a part of our existence nevertheless. Some say the phoenix will never fly again, like no one is ever to, except as I, everyone, and you. Chaz. Chaz was my dad. He was an amazing artist. He was an intuitive. He was an empath. He was a psychic. And he was just the greatest man that I believe ever lived. And that's my opinion. Now, he wrote this poem in 1971. And his nickname for me was the Phoenix. He knew my nickname 8 years before I was born. He knew my other nickname 4 years before I was born, which is Ev. And that's what I go by with a lot of family and friends. So my name is Ev, and I'm starting Everyone's Exchange, which is going to be an exchange of everyone's art and how that will amplify our future. And I'll explain more in other videos coming soon. I have to get this out here today because I'm catching a lot of heat from a lot of different angles. And I've done some Facebook live streams and trying to get people to wake up locally and get them to see the phoenix in themselves. And my dad says that street art is the phoenix, and then he says just start is the phoenix. So the phoenix is all in all of us and in you. It's just, when do you want to start? And that means quit bowing down to this system and this mechanism that is on all of us. So I was born in Phoenix, Arizona. My family of 8 traveled the country for the first 6 years of my life until we settled down in our little hometown, which I'll speak a lot of. And we had a really good childhood for the first few years of our lives. I grew up with 5 sisters all around me. I was the only boy, right in the middle of them all. And it was great. It was awesome. And it was otherworldly, I guess you could say. And that's what I'm going to express on here. My dad left me with hundreds and hundreds of pounds of writings, just all of his art, all of his writings, his thoughts, his poems. A few of the poems I put on my channel for my 4 subscribers so far to see. I hope you've enjoyed them. I'm going to explain those going forward because they're the most important poems that I've ever read. So with that being said, and these 4 poems that I just found these last week. Now, my dad died and was systematically killed 23 plus years ago, and I just started picking up his writings just a little over a year ago, and I'll go through the whole timeline and explain all that. I was always afraid to read his writings, and that is the one thing I do regret, is because if I would have picked these up 23 years ago, then I believe we wouldn't be in the situation we're in. And that's the only thing I'm going to be sorry for on here, is not reading my dad's writings sooner. So I'm going to read through this this first poem I had on my channel. And this is when I discovered a while back that religion and Jesus and Allah and Buddha and all this is a mechanism only, okay? And once we break ourselves free from it, little by little, we will start to see real truth. So my dad spoke real truth all the time, and he lifted everybody up that he came in contact with. He knew there was greatness in all of us. He knew the phoenix was in all of us. And I'm not saying I'm greater than anyone. I'm just telling you what my dad thought of me and called me and always told me I would be. Now, locally, I've started my own exchange where I'm a handyman, and it's called Ev's Exchange. And my dad knew I was going to do that. He writes throughout all of his writings that I'm going to start my own exchange and change currency, change how we do things, change the community, change everything. And he wrote a little saying about me in 1974. He says, I'll read that later because it makes me emotional. And I don't want to be emotional right now. I want to be very succinct in my words because this is my first video on my channel. So I'm going to read this poem to you and I'm going to explain it. And I had a live stream the other day where I read it and I interpreted it because that's my gift, is interpretation. I am great at interpreting, whether it's good or bad. And I can interpret what they are trying to do to hurt us. And I can interpret what we should do to combat that. And then I can interpret what my dad says, because all he does is predict beauty and prosperity and blissfulness and togetherness and community. So I'm going to read this poem to you. And I've been very absurd in my Facebook live streams, okay? I've cried, I've shouted, I've called names, I've done all this stuff because I knew what they did to my dad. So I'm going to read this for you. If a man must be absurd in order to be heard, then heard is what he must create. When no need to defeat is one's chosen seat, then man will never be late. Only fools, it seems, can be fulfilled with dreams, and fools mankind is not. For all futures will sink by seas understanding wink, if dependence on apathy's rot. So take this fist in the face, or dig a very large space, to bury this son of all men, for he comes and he goes in every world he knows, in brush, the act, sword and pen, and listen to his song, but don't tarry for long, for he's at war with the world to be, and always look with the best, and your youth invest, for the Son of Man is now free. So, the first part of it, if a man must be absurd in order to be heard, then heard, H-E-R-D, is what he must create. That's what I'm creating on Everyone's Exchange. I'm going to create a herd of amazing people that want to share their art and want to fight the system with that art, okay? And we're going to fight it peacefully. We're going to fight it with no weapons and no force, because that's their game. So our game is to beautify, amplify each other, and that's what we're going to do on here. And if you don't want to be a part of it, just go away, okay? I'm going to create this herd or this community that is going to only amplify. So when no need to defeat is one's chosen seat, that is my chosen seat. I'm not going to be defeated in this. Because they took my dad, they already got their pound of flesh. So whatever they did with that, that will be exposed one day too, okay? All futures will sink by seas understanding wink. Now everybody in their club or whatever understands wink. That means the one eye, the eye that is always supposedly looking over us, that is controlling us, okay? And that's what they go by. That's not what I go by, okay? I go by my ancestors. I go by the divine. I go by those things all the time, every day, with every breath I take. I take it purposefully. I do things purposely so I can learn and can teach going forward. And I'm going to show you something about teaching, and I'll show you the powers that be, how they don't want us to teach, okay? So, only fools, it seems, can be fulfilled with dreams, and fools mankind is not. And he's telling you the Son of Man is now free at the end of this. That's us. That's the watchers on the wall, the true men or man of Son of Man, okay? Because I am a son of a great man, okay? That is a great man, okay? And you're going to see that if you continue to watch, because he's going to speak to you in ways you wouldn't even believe, okay? But mankind is us, is the chosen few, and I don't know how many there are, that stand up for the women and the children in this world and the purity, because that's what that is, okay? And that's what religion has twisted in our minds. I believe that Jesus and Allah and the Father and Buddha, all those men, is what my dad's about to talk about. So take this fist in the face or dig a very large space to bury the Son of all men. So Jesus, the Father, Allah, Buddha, blah, 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 are all just concoctions of their version of a God. So horrible, murdering, raping, pestilent, sodomizing men can be forgiven and be worshiped for that too. That's why he says to bury the Son of all men. It's just a concoction, okay? I believe that Christ is all of us, okay? We are Christ. And I've really recently discovered this just because the synchronicities and the people that truly care about me, like, they're off the charts, because we are Christ, okay? You can say we're the body of Christ, and that's about as religious as I'm ever going to get, okay? Because there's really not another word for it right now. Christ is a great word. I also believe the first Christ was woman, okay? Was a woman, if you need to just do one, okay? I don't do that. I say there's gods. I say there's creators. I say there's, thee or whatever. It doesn't matter to me, okay? I don't need to put a name on it or a face or any of that, because it's all false idols. And I know that women are more pure than men, okay? So I believe the Adam and Eve story is all horse feathers, as my dad would say. So that's where I'm coming from. And if you don't want to believe or even give me the opportunity to believe that, then please just go away, okay? And go believe or bow down to anything you want to, because your negativity will not help us here. So take this fist in the face or dig a very large space to bury this Son of all men. For he comes and he goes in every world he knows, in brush, the act, sword, and pen. He's saying that we're being controlled in everything we do. And he writes about that extensively, and I'm going to be able to read that to you, okay? And listen to his song. He's saying, if you do go by that Bible, go by the good things, but don't tarry for long, because it's full of lies. It calls you a speck of dust. It calls you a grain of sand. It calls you nothing, and to bow down to one man, okay? And I just did that poem, didn't even know it, okay? So, and listen to his song, but don't tarry for long, okay? Listen to the good stuff, move on, because you're Christ, and you're awesome, and you're going to change the world too. For he's at war with the world to be. Now, I misinterpreted this on my live stream. I thought that was me. It's not. For he's at war with the world to be, which means Jesus is scrambling right now, because he's about to be exposed for all of his murdering and his soul snatching and his lies, okay? Because he's just made up, and that's all there is to be. So the world to be is the great world that we're about to experience going forward, because I believe we're at the end of a cycle. And I believe time is the biggest lie ever told. I believe that we, as mankind and womankind and all of us, are no more than anywhere from 5 to 999 years old as people, okay? And that's what they try to do to you. They try to expand time so you will be insignificant, okay? They try to lie to you about this and that and this and that, and keep you wondering, and, oh, is the earth flat? Is it round? Is it this? It's this. None of it matters right now. going forward, we're going to see the answers, okay? Jesus and the Father and the control mechanisms and the murderers in this world know what's coming, okay? They know us better than we know ourselves at times, because they're always checking in on us, right? Keeping their thumb on us, keeping their eye on us, the wink, the one eye on us, right? So with that being said, they know what's coming. Now, all we have to do is wake up to that and be like calling it out. And then the divine shows up for you, just like she's shown up for me countless times. And I can count, okay? I'm great at math. I discovered some new math or some old math that I'll teach you about, that I reached out to quite a few, well-known people that didn't want anything to do with me. Like Elon Musk was one of them. I reached out to him 3 years ago, got crickets, and then he tried to expose me about a year or so ago, and I didn't bite. You can think whatever you want of that. That's fine. But there is old math out there that will be our new math, and that's what the world to be is going to be. Because once you discover some things in this world, that's the law of this land, is that once you call it out, it can't do it again. So I'm asking you all to continue to call out, and I've seen so many people on Twitter. That's about my only social media right now. I will expand. I will increase daily, as my dad says. I'm terrible at the technology thing, or their technology anyway. So I'm going to get better every day. And I've seen so many videos of people doing the same thing. They are the Phoenix as well. I just need us all to come together. And it doesn't necessarily have to be on Everyone's Exchange, but we are going to come together. Okay? And with Everyone's Exchange, we're going to get people out of debt. We're going to be the opposite of, Mr. Beast, where that's just a fluff piece of, BS and actors, and it's the new publishers clearinghouse, so to speak. But with Everyone's Exchange, and I'm going to explain this later, and I don't want you to, do anything with it yet. I have a P.O. box that the government shut down because I told people that, and I have proof that they're poisoning our water. So I told everybody in my live streams that they're poisoning the water, and I told them if we all just didn't pay our water bill 1 month, then they would maybe stop poisoning us. And for that reason, they shut down my P.O. box, and I don't know if it's still shut down. I'm asking you all to maybe help me out and send me a letter of just saying, hey, I'm getting through, and maybe I like your dad's poems, and I can't wait to see where this is going to go. So I'll write that here at the end. All that being said, I just want to grow community. I want to find a person out there that wants me to keep going. And I've found a few. It's very rare. My little town is being punished for something that somebody did in pre-World War II. So Wendell Willkie ran for president against the big war machine, against Roosevelt, against all the murderers and all that, and wanted world peace. And then they killed him for it 4 years later in 1944. And I'll talk a lot about Wendell Willkie. I'll talk so much about my dad, and I'm going to talk about so many artists because I believe every artist has something to tell us, including all the songwriters and all the singers out there. And they're trying to find a way to tell us what they're doing to us. And my dad is the greatest, in my opinion, to do so. So, and he says, and always look with the best. That means go towards the divine, okay? There's where you're going to find your answers. And your youth, invest. We have to take care of our kids. They're poisoning their water, their food in every school. Every single school is poisoning the children in it, okay? And that's all for control. They don't want us to be thinkers. They want us to just be workers with our one job for the rest of our lives. And I know you all can see that. I know you all have had that happen to you. Okay? Now is the time for you to turn that against them. And I always like to say, use the weapons of the enemy against them. So, if we start doing that, you use your talents, your art to start, because the start is the phoenix, okay? Start that right now. Say you were a doctor and you want to start something in your life different. Go help people, period. That's all you have to do, okay? So, and always look with the best, and your youth invest, for the Son of Man is now free. So I know I am free, and by next year, I'm going to be a sovereign, and that means totally free of the system. So that's why I started my local handyman business, which I will not pay a dime to anyone, okay? Unless they give me silver. If they pay me in silver, then I will return silver to them, okay? And I'll explain that later. I have this concept of bringing back silver, because it literally is only 150 years away from when we used to use it. And their version of currency and money is what has enslaved us. I believe the Civil War is one of the biggest lies ever told as well. I will explain that in an episode. I know I'm putting a lot out there right now. I've caught a lot of heat from religious people right now. They always want me to bend the knee or bow to Jesus and confess and surrender and all this, and I never will, because my dad wouldn't. My dad was a sovereign. He didn't pay taxes the last 40 years of his life. He was a beautiful artist, and he knew what it meant to be a free spirit, and that's what he talked about so much in. And he knew what I was going to do, okay? He knew that I never back down from anyone, and I've got my ass kicked over and over and over throughout my whole life. And then these so-called people realize that I don't back down, okay? And I'm certainly not going to back down now that I've been reading my dad's writings about me and about you. And there's so many out there, and I don't know how many there are. The 144, number comes up a lot. 144,000. I think it's maybe 144 million, because I believe there's strong man out there, okay? A lot of them. They just don't know it yet. And I'm hoping that, what my dad has to say will help people realize what they are, because he is just beginning to help me realize what I am, okay? And the government and the system knows who I am, because they've been tracking us all for all too long. And then when you start to step out of line, they start to bully you a little bit, okay? And that's why a lot of you can't imagine that, because you never really stepped out of line, right? Which is fine. You've probably led a pretty good, profitable, nice life, which kudos to you. I believe we all have that power in us, okay? To connect, to, be free in a sense. And I think we're going to do that. I know we're going to do that here. Even if I only have a few subscribers, it literally takes 3% to start a evolution. And that's what we're going to do here. So I'll write my P.O. box. It might be switching to my hometown soon, because if the letters don't come in, I obviously know what's going on with it. So it is P.O. Box 303 at 17520 Dartown Road, Westfield, Indiana 46074. So I'll put that on my channel. I'll put it right here. Okay, That's my P.O. box. And this idea I got from Owen Benjamin. He's a comedian, and he claims to be out of the system or whatever he claims. There's a lot of lies out there, and I'm going to expose those too. I wrote Owen 3 different letters, and he responded with threats on his live stream on his own little platform, and that's all I got for him. And I asked him for help. I asked him for some sort of connection and some answers, because we had so many synchronicities. And he knows his town was punished as well in Oswego, New York. They were the only county that went against the war machine, just like my city was one of the only that went against the war machine in World War II. And those cycles are coming to an absolute end, if they haven't already. So I know there's better days ahead of us, because their cycles can't last that long, okay? It can't last longer than 80 years, and we're right there. So that is a shout out to him. It's also a shout out to him being a liar, because he's not a complete liar. He just won't stop with the control and the threats. And I'm an empath, just like my dad, so I can hear him very vividly and see right through a lot of them. And I'm calling him out because he basically told me to, for clicks and for clout. He did it in the opposite way. He told me to not do it, so I'm going to do it. So if any of you know about him and his bear community, because he renamed you just like the Bible does, just like Jesus does, because he has to for control. So, like I said, I reached out to him for help because I didn't know what was going on. I knew that I was supposed to do something, and I was looking for a friend, and I didn't find one again. All I found was another control mechanism, another bully in my life. And as I said before, I've stood up to every bully ever, especially and including and always I will stand up to Jesus, because Jesus represents death, period, which was brought here not that long ago, right at the Civil War, okay? People didn't know about death before the Civil War. They barely knew about it before World War I, which I will explain very soon, because I think that's where a lot of things started, was World War I. And then, of course, we're in this cycle that's about to end from World War II. So, and you can see that, if you go from the Civil War to World War, or to the 20s, the Depression era, that was another cycle that they keep doing. They keep breaking those cycles so they break us. Well, now that cycle is an absolute end. So it's now our time. The Son of Man is now free. Okay, it's now our time to rise up in any way we can, because the divine is paying attention to you. I promise you. And if you pick up that sword, which is your voice, then the divine will show you more and more that will blow your mind, okay? And it's beautiful. So, I don't want to make this too long. I know people's attention spans right now are really wayward. So, I just really want to thank the ones that do support me right now, and you are the ones that keep me going. I got a message from somebody the other day that just always questioned the God theory and why would God hurt us? And that's my whole thing that I stand firm on, is there is something greater out there that doesn't want us to suffer and doesn't want us to even think about death or taxes or stress. And then that entity, that uplifting entity, wants us to see what miracles we can create. Okay, with that stress-free living, with that that freedom that my dad talks about all the time. I just know there is something greater than the control. So I'm not going to listen to the threats anymore. I did want to read this. This is hilarious. I just saw this 3 days ago, and it says, "If you don't help me, do not help that bear." And that's how I know I have, some sort of kinship or something with Owen Benjamin Smith, because just that right there. And then my dad has on this card, truth, morals, ethics, ethos. Go look up the word ethos. It's beautiful. Personify, get along, success, and then failure, and then apathy. Okay? So all those things, truth, morals, ethics, ethos, personify, get along, success, are above failure and apathy. Because that's not us. That's truly not us as mankind, or as humankind, or as womankind, as it maybe should be. Okay? So if you don't help me, do not help that bear. He has threatened to send his Indiana Bears my way, which I believe he's done in many ways, and I need him to stop so I can be more free, so I can help others. I also changed the Coriolis effect from a funnel and a crystal and some marbles and some copper, which is healing, and I had a member of the CIA visit me because of it. I put those on my Facebook live streams as well, and then a week later a CIA agent shows up. So, and I'm not going to worry about that stuff right now, because I know I'm just here to help and heal and help people heal. And I'm not God. I'm just an extension of the divine, just like my dad was a great extension of the divine and was so in tune with the divine. And that's one of the only words I can come up with. And my dad's the same way. And he says he omits the use of the word faith, because there's not a better word. And that's just me. That's what I have, is faith. Faith in all of you. Faith in Christ, because we are all Christ. I have faith in the old gods, the new gods, the creators, the anything great out there. That's what I have faith in. And that's what I'm going to rest on and be confident in. And I'm going to be confident in you, because I know it's in all of us. That Phoenix is in all of us. Even Owen Benjamin. He does a lot of good. He also murders people with his words every day by calling people the N-word or calling people these names and that names. And those people are purer than he ever will be. And that's why he breaks them down, and that's why he calls them names. And then he says that freedom of speech is why he does it, because we should be able to use any word. Not if those words tear you down. And that's what I'm gonna show you on Everyone's Exchange, is how to not tear people down. And I'll stop tearing him down right now. He needs to wake up, though, because the world needs him to be powerful instead of controlling. So that's a shout out to you, Owen. I hope this gets to you quickly, because I tried to connect and you just threatened me. So write my P.O. box, okay? If you can write my P.O. box. Now, if you send me a letter here, I want you to be able to talk about anything. I will explain that going forward. He puts, a limit on it, a 1-page limit, and then he doesn't accept women, a lot of their letters, because they're too emotional. So that's what I'm going to do the opposite of. I'm going to be the opposite of him. I'm going to be the opposite of Mr. Beast. I'm going to be the opposite of Joe Rogan, of, Jordan Peterson, of Russell Brand, of all those little lying podcasts and people, all those followers are literally following them word for word. And I don't want you to do that here. I don't want you to follow my words. You don't even have to follow my dad's words. You could just listen to them and do whatever you want with them, because I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to judge you if you believe this or that. And I'm not going to try to control you. And domineer you. I'm not doing any of that here. I'm just offering you my art. I'm offering you my choices in life. And my dad says that if you can inspire truth, you will inspire choice. And I take it a step further. I say, when you inspire truth, you will inspire choice. So I'm sticking my neck out there, and I always have, and I always will. And I'm going to keep doing that for my dad, because my dad was an amazing man. And this world tried to break him. This world tried to snatch his soul. His own family tried to capture his soul. And they're all going to have to answer for it in one way or another. So I always end my live streams with just go be powerful. And then that just means, go stand up for something that's not you. Go stand up for somebody that's hurting. Go stand up for, the children of this world that need you to, because they don't have a voice yet, right? Even though they have one of the strongest voices and the best frequency of all voices, because their frequency is so much higher than women's, and then way higher than men's. And these are all facts. You can go look them up. Frequency is where it's at. Even Owen Benjamin says that. He says frequency is everything. Well, he doesn't understand that because he's still calling people N-words. So we all have a lot to learn, and we all have a lot to learn from each other. I've learned a lot from him. He's taught me a lot, and he's helped me in a lot of ways, and that's why I reached out to him. We just all need to let that control thing go, though. And that's really what it is. And it's religion. It's in everything that we do. Okay, if you're trying to control somebody, then you're bringing their frequency down. So let's just all stop that and try to do the opposite and bring people up. So I'm going to end it there. I'll probably have another video tonight. And I'm really hoping to be live really soon. So the more subscribers, the more views I get. It's all going to be just going in the direction I believe we need to go. And that's not saying that I'm, my opinion's greater than anybody's. I just think we need to, my dad says a new wand might deserve a wave. And that's as simple and beautiful as I could ever say it. So I will leave that there. So please go be powerful for your loved ones. All right. Thank you.